We continue with our topic, geometric construction. We move on to topic or objective 1H. We're still using geometrical instruments, and this time we're going to measure angles as opposed to drawing them. So, even though they're very similar, we still need to make sure we know the difference. So whenever it's possible, whenever it's necessary to measure an angle, we always put the central point of the protractor at the vertex. Notice we're putting it at where the two line segments meet. We make sure that 0 is on the line. We're counting from the 0, not the 180. We're focusing on the inner gray numbers, and we go 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees. Okay? I think that's straightforward. You have to make sure the 0 is on the baseline. And it's the inner set of numbers we were reading. And so we find a number that line up with that. And we're going to, okay, so there it is. There's my sunshine to say, oh, I know what the answer is. Notice I don't put it over 140. I put it over 40. And that number represents the size of the angle, 40 degrees. And since I measuring, I'm putting in my answer, 40 degrees. So this time we have an obtuse angle, and you know, it's not always going to be a number that's a multiple of 10. But that's not going to trick us because we drew an angle that wasn't a multiple of 10. This time when we put the protractor down, notice that the 0 in question is the outer set of zeros. The outer 0. So we want to focus on the outer numbers and not the inner numbers. So we must read the outer numbers starting from 0. And so we get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. But we're halfway between 120 and 30. So that has to be 125. I think that's the same angle we drew. But anyways, we still have to measure to be sure. So it's in between. When it's in between, you count. So if it's the longer one, we know it's a unit of 5. It's increment of 5. If not, you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you have to be as precise as possible. The margin of error on the exam is very small. So I'm not saying you can't be off, but try to be as precise as possible. There is a margin of error that we use when marking. And so we can now put our arc in place and put in the size of the angle, which is 125 degrees. Okay?